Howdy, folks. Your old pal keeping it country. How y'all doing? Well, we got another episode coming up, and let's just jump right into it. Um, on this episode, let's talk a little bit where this relates to music. I think it'll become pretty apparent. Um, let's talk about moving on. You know, we don't walk into any relationship going, "Oh man, I can't wait till this one fails and I get heartbroken and I get my guts kicked in, tore out, and my heart ripped out of my chest." None of us walk into that thinking that. We walk in with almost a naivety of, "Oh man, this is the best thing that's ever happened, and this is the best thing there ever was," and then it's not, for whatever reason. And we're not gonna throw out the accusation cards or nothing like that. Sometimes relationships just don't work out because they don't work out. Incompatibilities, different things. We all know what's out there. We all know some of the issues that's been had in relationships, and some people are forgiving, some people aren't. There's a plethora of reasons why things work out or why they don't work out. So, with that being said, when things come to an end, and they're here again, I'm only speaking from personal experience. I can't speak for you all, nor would I ever try to. These are just all my own reflections and thoughts, and maybe if it helps one or two or five, or as long as it helps just one person maybe think, "Wow, okay, maybe I don't have it so bad after all," or "Wow, I never thought about that," then hey, it's been well worth it doing these things. So moving on. When things come to an end, we can do one of two things. Well, one of three things, actually. We can be vengeful and revengeful, hateful, and I hate using the word hate. I usually use a word like dislike, but in this context, it needs to be said. We can move on and, take what we've learned and hopefully don't make any of the same transgressions or same mistakes, or we've learned some flags to look for in our partners that we choose in the future, or we can hang on. And before you get your panties in a bunch, all y'all, let me explain. I know for a fact, there are certain situations, and I don't use the L word, I use it with my family, because there are a few things to me, they're still sacred. Vows, morals, integrity, and the word love. So I may say, "I very much like you," or "I like you a lot," or something like that. But everybody else seems to want to just throw that word around, and to some extent, it's kind of like the things that are going on today. The wars, and this person dies, or this shooting, or this school shooting. We get desensitized to that and become complacent and acceptable for us. or acceptance, I guess I should say. Not me. Every single one still bothers me. And those are conversations for another time. But I just wanted to let you know there's a few things I still hold very near and dear to my heart. So, with that being said, hanging on. I mean, I've seen it happen up into 20 years afterwards. It's not for me to say right, wrong, or indifferent. But if that's the path you choose, you have to understand that you're standing still. You're becoming stagnant. You're not moving forward. You haven't made the acceptance that you need to move forward. And you need to figure that out so that you can move forward and you can be happy. Because as long as you hang on to that negativity, you're never going to be completely happy. You're never going to make the strides and the successes and the leaps forward that you want to, because you're standing still in time, living in the past, not living in the future. And I hope this makes sense. I mean, it does to me. And it was something that I had to do because there was a situation that I held on to. And I had a lot of anger over it. Well, actually, there was two situations. I had to let them go in order to move forward. How am I ever going to do anything good if I'm living in the past and that is influencing me on what I'm doing in the present? So I had to put the past into the past and leave it there and figure a way to move forward, to be positive, to be helpful, to be present for people who needed me to be present right here and now, today, tomorrow, the next day, the next week, the next month, for as long as I get to grace this side of the dirt. So that's kind of where we're going. I think I'm going to keep these short and sweet. Probably 15 minutes or less. I mean, come on, let's be realistic. After about 30 seconds, if I haven't got your attention, you've already moved on anyway, swiped, moved forward, did whatever. So, but yeah. So, on another note, let's talk Taylor Swift. Just dropped her new album. Anybody that knows me knows how big and huge of a Taylor Swift fan I am. So, with a little bit of a tear in my eye, I have to say, I ain't impressed. I'm not. I was expecting something a little bit more. And yes, I know the whole premise of growing up and getting older and becoming more mature, there's more adult content and this matures and that matures. That's not what music artists are here to do. Listen up. Listen. You might not like what I have to say, and you might 100% disagree with it, but you've chosen a profession that you get to influence people, their feelings, certain moments in time. Wedding proposals. People who are feeling down. People who feel like they have nothing else. You create music that speaks to them. And I know all the Swifties out there, they're going to totally disagree with me. You just don't. I do understand. What most they don't understand is I've been in the music industry longer than most of them's been alive. So, anywho, not impressed. I'm pretty much disappointed. I was expecting something a little bit more greater, but I guess I really should have been paying attention. If you pay attention to her titles that she picks, you can almost pick out what kind of music to be looking for. This one seemed more like a revenge album than pretty much anything else. And hey, if it's therapy and it got the negativity and the badness out of her head, you know, and she needed to put it down on vinyl or in digital form, kudos to her. I'm not condemning her for her music at all. Please don't take me wrong. It's just not my cup of tea. You know, I'm more into the positive attributes of music, uplifting, and you can still have critical thinking and what's the word I'm looking for lack of a better term, you can have negative connotations, but in a positive influence. For example, I can't believe that I drove up to your house and I seen his car parked in your parking spot. I knew he was in there, so I drove on by and went to the bar or went to the park and met the most amazing person, and thank you. See what I'm doing? I'm turning it around. You take the negatives and create positives. You can do that with your music. And that's the kind of music I'm looking for. That's why I listen to independent artists, because a lot of them aren't doing the boo-hoo-hoo, except for a couple of them. And I get that you're writing from personal experiences. Like I talk here, I can only speak personal experiences. You know, I can't speak for anybody else. And I understand when you get hurt, it sucks. Oh yeah, bad. And sometimes really bad. And that puts some of us in a dark place. You know, where we contemplate doing things that normally would never have ever crossed our mind. So that's all I'm saying is with all the negativity we have going on in the world right now, can't we just have positivity, music, help one another, lift up one another with the music? Don't think it's asking a whole lot. So that's about all I got to rant and rave about today and ramble about. Hope you found something useful out of this thing. So until we meet again, remember to love one another. Remember to be kind to one another. It's your old pal Keeping It Country.
Keeping it country. Keeping it country.